Go ahead.
It's not making light of the situation to ask for us to investigate and find out exactly what happened. I'm not saying that to blame. I'm not trying to blame anyone. Questions are unanswered. Family members have questions unanswered. Firefighters do have questions unanswered. You may not be the ones you're speaking with, but there are ones that do, and I think they deserve answers.
Could you tell me this? Is it possible for the fire department to unwitting dupes? In other words, they think the buildings fell down through natural causes and there were really explosives and they just couldn't figure that out. Do you think that's plausible? Okay, so in other words, you don't think they were in on it?
No.
Anyone else? What was the... Okay. Okay, that's a fair opinion. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have an opinion about the firefighters, the police, the first responders? Were they in on it?
Highest respect.
That's a horrible question.
That's a horrible question.
They weren't?
I'm shocked you're even asking.
Okay, then why were they so wrong? It is, after all, their business to understand burning buildings and what makes them collapse.
I will say the former fire safety investigator at NYC was actually on Architects and Never True. He was in charge for maybe an hour.
His name?
And we have
You can ask me all the damn questions they want, but I'm not answering.
and police officers.
Who's these guys anyway, by any chance, you know?
What's that?
Who's these guys anyway?
They're public, New York
Oh,
public.
you're talking about Dr. James Quintier.
So how many buildings?
Okay, yeah, I've spoken to Dr. Quintier. He feels that this has overrated the effects of the loss of fireproofing. He thinks the building would have come down even if no fireproofing had been removed. So he has problems with the NIST report. But in fact, he told me he personally believes even more strongly than NIST that explosives could not have had anything to do with it because it simply doesn't resemble a control building.
But he does have questions about the report.
He doesn't think that the loss of fireproofing was as significant as NIST claims.
You're talking about towers 1 and 2?
Yes.
What's the coincidence of all the buildings? No.
Oh, okay, but that report just came out.
Right, that report just came out, and it appears, I actually just spoke with, just me personally, I'm interested in what's going on, so I live in Westchester.
Yeah.
So I went to the president of the AIA Westchester Mid-Hudson region, and she'd never heard of 9/11 truth. She had no, Carol Chapa is her name. And I spoke to her, I just asked, what do you think of this new report, and what do you think about the report that architects and engineers for 9/11 truth have put out? She was stunned by the idea, she couldn't believe it. So she's actually now going to be talking to her board, hoping to meet up with more local architects and engineers.
One question.
And I think it's good to ask questions. If people have questions on the official report, why wasn't there?
Okay, so what's most?
That's fair enough. I mean, I've had a problem with World Trade Center 7 for some time. A relatively obscure building collapses 7 hours after the attack. How do you fit that into a coherent conspiracy? What's the point?
Explain it on
You know what, truth of the matter is, I'm not even going to speculate on the point. I'm sure I could do that for an hour and a half. But the fact that we just don't know how that building fell, the fact that there are people that were in the building at the time that reported hearing explosions, the fact that there were people around the building that reported hearing explosions.
You'd always hear explosions. Proof on what? These things are blowing up. I mean, you couldn't have an office fire without explosions. I mean, computers blow up, fax machines blow up.
How long does it take before John F. Kennedy emergency management at World Trade Tower 7?
Why don't we ever find out?
Refuses to believe the reports that came out so far. He called them vastly inadequate.
They try to say, oh, you're conspiracy theorist.
Stands by his statement that
you're fat.
him and one other person were in the building.
I believe he did hear explosions. But again,
So he does
random
all I'm saying
explosions
is,
would not be shaped
all
charges.
I'm saying is the two people that happened to be there believe that there were explosions and not fires. They say exploded. They explicitly make it clear they thought it was explosions.
Well, we know there were fires.
They change it every year. NIST,
I'm just saying
which is a government-controlled agency, changes it like every year. They just need a new one. Thermal expansion. So now every building that has a fire. I gotta get a camcorder. This is crazy. Let's see.
We don't know exactly what happened, but
That is a general level of distrust for some of these medical institutions. Why would you do that?
Well, they've also refused to release any of their information and data to any independent entities. One time when people have requested studies that they've done in the field.
They actually did simulations available.
Right, the computer simulations were based on zero evidence or zero structural steel that came from World Trade Tower 7. So they acknowledge that, you know, they just kind of made these designs and they made these computer simulations with zero evidence from World Trade Tower 7. That, at the very least, sounds a little sketchy. The fact that they've refused to give any of their data over to a group of 473 architects and engineers that are calling for independent report now seems a little unfair. I would imagine if you want to verify the findings of NIST, which is a government institution, maybe it'd be worth our time to have independent people look at it. But so far, we've been denied that request. That's troublesome, I would imagine.
The problem with bringing I frequently call people on the list to invite them to debate on hard fire. I get two responses. One, they claim they didn't know their name was on the list. And the other, most popular one, is that they really need more time to prepare. So I don't know what to make of Gage's list. If you've got a great truth, you should be promoting it. You know, they should be out there.
I'm pretty sure there's people. I mean, I see a bunch of people.
In other words,
promoting.
But imagine now you're not just talking to some jerk with a microphone. You're up there and there's a demolition expert here, there's a physicist here, and a structural engineer here, and you say, that was a controlled demolition. And the demolition expert says, gee, how come we didn't find any detonator caps? How come we didn't find any bits of wiring? How come there was no seismic? Who was contracted to look for them? I'm saying that every demolition expert is going to ask the same question. Why is there no physical evidence of demolition?
Blasting caps because they use thermite. I don't want to be interviewed.
Thermite does not.
Don't even talk to him.
Thermite does not work. It's not used.
I think you put it.
I might as well just stop.